I followed up my reading and recent review of Valerie Taylor's Stranger on Lesbos with reading her sequel to that novel, Return to Lesbos, which I think is even better than the first book. This one was published in 1963, so 3 years after Stranger on Lesbos, and it picks up exactly a year after the first book ends. She is wandering into a gay bar on the first anniversary of her son Bob's wedding. She's got a grandchild on the way, but she's feeling very lost and very unhappy with her life. She's tried to reintegrate back into conventional married life with her husband Bill, but things aren't really going that well. She feels as though not only doesn't she love him, but he doesn't love her either. He only thinks that he does because he should, because she's his wife, and that's how marriage works. She kind of throws a wrench into things when she meets up with an old friend, a friend who's actually headed to Iran, I believe, to work. She reveals to this friend and to us as the reader that her husband has been moved by his work to a new position in a smaller town, so they're moving out of the city to a more rural area, although it can't be that rural because there's furniture stores and whatnot. Frances gets dragged to this town with her husband. She's got this big house that she furnishes and decorates, and talks about putting in a bar in the basement or whatever so that they can entertain friends. She does all these things that she should be doing in a woman of her position. Her husband is the boss of all the other men in the social circle that she moves in, and so their wives kind of look up to her. But she doesn't want anything to do with this social life with the wives of her husband's co-workers. She just wants to explore, and by explore, she wants to look for love. She is out in this town looking for her kind of people. After getting her hair done one day, she stumbles across a bookstore where she meets Vince, who quickly becomes a good friend of hers, and Vince is helping her get to know a woman that she met in Vince's bookstore the first day they met, named Erica. And Vince has a special place in his heart for Erica. They've been friends a while, but Erica is resistant to love and to social interactions of any kind because her partner, the woman that she intended to spend the rest of her life with, has died in what we're given to understand is some sort of accident, likely a car accident. And so Erica is holed up in this kind of rundown, messy room, and she's a school teacher, so she's not working for the summer, and she's not doing much of anything until Frances shows up and wants to buy the Anne Bannon books that she finds in Vince's bookstore. And Vince asks Erica if it's all right if she has them, because these books belonged to Erica's dead partner. Frances falls in love with Erica almost on sight. She's seeking her out. Vince is helping her to get close to Erica, and Erica, we get the sense that Erica very much wants to get close to Frances as well, but she's afraid to because of her experiences in the past, which makes for one of those cute, nice love stories. So I enjoyed Return to Lesbos more than the first book. I think because this one has a happy ending. This one doesn't end with Frances going back to her emotionally abusive husband who's not there half the time and who has raped her. This book gives her that happy ending. As well, Erica is a really, really likable love interest. The way she's written, the reader could almost fall in love with her as well. Erica is suffering, yes, but she seems like a genuinely good and kind person. She has things in common with Francis. You could see them as them getting along in the long run, unlike her first relationship, her first affair with Bake in the first novel. Bake was just bad news, but Erica, on the other hand, very good news. When I think about it, really, I almost wish that these two books had been one novel instead of two separate, tiny novels, because the first novel leaves things unfinished. It's a very unsatisfactory ending. Frances is left in limbo, more or less. She's sure she knows she's gay now, but she's not better off than she was before. In fact, she's in a worse place, and she's been beaten at the end of that first novel by the things that she's struggling with, by the conflict she has relating to her son, to her husband and her marriage, and to the prospect of having her own career. In this novel, she's dealt with those things. She is ready. It's not a matter of if she's going to leave her husband, it's a matter of when. She just has to find the courage to do it. This book really gives her that full character development arc, I guess. At least in a better and more satisfactory way than the first novel did. At the end, we're happy for her, and we know she's going to have a good life, as opposed to the first novel where we're just a little bit depressed and we're worried about her. I wanted to share one quote from the book before I conclude this video. So Valerie Taylor writes, "It was no use. Her year of hard work following their reconciliation had succeeded in one way. Bill now thought of her affair with Bake as an aberration, an unpleasant but temporary interruption to a happy normal marriage. She had played Mrs. Olenfield so skillfully that she had Mr. Olenfield completely fooled. He knew man-wise that women do wacky things. Other men's wives carried on with men or drank too much or had to be hospitalized with nervous breakdowns. She had wronged him too, but with great nobility he had forgiven, but not forgotten, and taken her back into his bed. As far as he was concerned, the incident was closed. He was going to be surprised when he found out. As far as she was concerned, it wasn't the 3 years with Bake that were evil, but the return to unlove. To accept forgiveness for an episode she didn't think was wrong, that was really immoral. She was twice as guilty as he thought, but not for the reason he had in mind." So in this book, she has become a much stronger character than in the first one. She's made up her mind and she's ready to go for it. And that was just really enjoyable to read. So my second Valerie Taylor novel, The Verdict is good. Oops, I just knocked my camera. The Verdict is good, and I'm looking forward to getting into a couple more of her novels that I have here. I'm trying to decide whether to read Prism or Whisper Their Love next. I think I may go with Whisper Their Love next. The synopsis says, Joyce is 18, a freshman at a fashionable school for girls. Suddenly all that matters to her is a woman twice her age. This beautifully written pulp novel was published as a mass-market paperback in 1957 and is widely considered a historic milestone for its openly lesbian feminist content, which shocked many readers of the time. It has been described as an anti-romance novel for its grounding in the reality of lesbian experience. And this is Taylor's first novel, so I think that's probably a good place to jump to next.